Om Tat Sat. That this chanting of the spiritual mantra, it purifies all aspects of one's austerity, one's charity and sacrifice, and brings it to the spiritual platform. So we saw in verse number 23. Verse number 23. Krishna is saying from the beginning of creation, this three word Om Tat Sat were used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. So all austerity, all penance, all charity, all sacrifices are meant to satisfy the Supreme Lord. And one who is not at that platform, one who is not at the spiritual position, so how he can come to that platform is by chanting Om Tat Sat. These three symbolic representations were used by the Brahmanas while chanting the hymns of the Vedas, that during sacrifice and for satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. And then in the 24th verse, if you see, Krishna glorifies the word Om. Tasmat Om iti udharitya yagyadana tapapriya. Therefore, transcendentalists undertaking performance of sacrifice, charity and penance in accordance with simple regulation always begin with Om to attain the Supreme. And 25th verse, Krishna is talking about Tat. Tat iti. It is that Tat. Om Tat Sat. You remember what is Om Tat Sat? Prabhupada has already explained that. Anyone remembers from Prabhupada's purport? Prabhupada talks about the three goals. And from each goal, each word has been taken. Where is Om originating from? And where is Tat and what is Sat? Holy, just 2 days back we discussed. It was there in the commentary of 23rd verse. Prabhupada is saying that Om iti etat Brahmano nirdeshtam nam Rigved indicates the first goal. Then Tattvamasi Chandognya Upnishad indicates the second goal. And Sad Eva Saumya indicates the third. So Krishna has explained Om in the 24th verse. And then he has explained Tat in the 25th verse. And now in the 26th and 27th, he will explain the Sat. Om Tat Sat. So we will take the 26th, 27th verse and also we will take the 28th verse and conclude the chapter. Sadbhave sadhu bhave cha saditi etat prayujyate prashaste karmani tatha sat shabda partha yujyate yagne tapasi dane cha Sthiti sat iti chochate karma cheva tadarthiyam sat iti eva vidhiyate. So you see many times the word which is being repeated is Sat. Sat bhave sadhu bhave cha. Then again it is saying Shat shabdah Shat iti chochate Shat iti eva vidhiyate. The focus Krishna is giving on the word Sat. So what is Sat Bhave? Bhave is nature. So Sat Bhave means in the nature of the Supreme. Om is also indicated towards the Supreme. And Sat also. Sat means eternal existence. You know? Sat, Chit and Anand. So Sat means the eternal existence. So Sat Bhave means in the sense of the nature of the Supreme. And who is able to know the nature of the Supreme? It is the Sadhu Bhave. The sadhus. Which kind of sadhu? Pure devotees. Sat Bhave. Sat, please remember, Sat is eternal. So those who are on the platform of transcendence, eternal existence, they are Sat Bhave, Sadhu Bhave. So this is the sense of the nature of the devotees. Which devotees? Pure devotees. Who are freed from material existence. So they are Sadhu Bhave. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. So please remember, we are speaking about these three aspects: sacrifice, charity, austerity. So all of it, why it is to be performed? So see what Krishna is doing by introducing this Vedic hymn or Vedic mantra of Om Tat Sat. Those who are faithless, he is bringing them to the platform of faith. And those who are even in the material existence, having some faith, as Arjuna began with this chapter. So Krishna is transforming their faith to come to the transcendental faith. How? By chanting these mantras. Oh, what is the power of chanting the mantra? Actually, if you see, is exhibited here in this section of this chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So coming to this verse 26 and 27, it talks about Sadbhave. The absolute truth is the objective of devotional sacrifice, and it is indicated by the word Sat. The performer of such sacrifices is also called Sat. One who is in transcendence. So he has eternal existence. So he is on the platform of Sat. When that sacrifice is performed for the satisfaction of the Supreme. So Sat Bhave, Sadhu Bhave. As all works of sacrifice, penance, and charity, which true to the absolute nature are performed to please the Supreme Person or Son of Partha. So in particular, what Krishna is speaking about in this chapter is Yajna Dana Tapa. So this is for the fulfillment or the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. And if that is the objective, if that is the purpose, that is the goal, and it is being performed by chanting the right mantras, then one is on the platform of Sat. Okay. So let us see the purport. Srila Prabhupada speaks in the purport that the word Prashasta Karmani or prescribed duties indicate that there are many activities prescribed in the Vedic literature which are the purificatory processes. Yes, as we know, in Vedic literature there are many recommendations. Beginning from the time of conception up to the end of one's life, which are called purificatory process. What is this purificatory process? Prashasta Karmani is called for the prescribed duties. And these duties are for the purificatory process. What are the purificatory processes? Not something very first time you are hearing. Purificatory process is what?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, right now for us the sadhana bhakti is the purificatory process.
That is true. That is for one who is at the level of transcendence. But in Vedic literatures, what is the purificatory process? Samskars. Samskar. Like Prabhupada is saying that from the time of conception up to the end of one's life. So what is it? From Garbhadhan Samskar till the Sanskar at the time of death. We performed one Samskar, Anprashnan Samskar. Just few days back, there was a very lucky child. He and his mother came to the temple, and she had a bowl and some pious, silver bowl, and she offered to Radha Parsati. And she wanted 5 devotees to offer it to her son. And at that time, 2 of our Maharaj entered the temple hall. Bhagavatam class was going on. It was almost 8:40. And from Raipur, our Maharaj came. And to welcome him, Guru Maharaj also came in the temple. And she took that opportunity. She requested Guru Maharaj to first feed her son at the first spoon. So Maharaj fed, and then the other Maharaj also fed. And then Balbhat Prabhu had brought her. Then Balbhat Prabhu fed, then Krishna Priya Prabhu fed. Then Balbhat Prabhu caught me also. You become the 5th one. You also feed her. So I was just thinking how fortunate the child is. So these are all samskar, the purificatory process. So see, try and understand what Krishna is speaking here. It is neither for the divine nor for the demoniac. So for whom it is? This chapter is dedicated for whom? For those who are in between. So Krishna is uplifting them to come to the platform of transcendence. How? Because they don't chant Hare Krishna. So Krishna is encouraging them, motivating them, uplifting them, inducing them to chant Om Tat Sat and come to the platform of Sat, eternal existence. Such purificatory processes are adopted for the ultimate liberation of the living entity. But it is for those predominantly that those who are not fixed up in the spiritual process or the Bhagavad Vidhi. In all activities, it is recommended that one vibrate Om Tat Sat. The word Sadbhave and Sadhubhave indicate. So what is Sadbhave indicating? With the Supreme Lord, the nature of the Supreme Lord. And Sadhubhave indicate the pure devotees who are always engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. So Prabhupada is saying the words Sadbhave and Sadhubhave indicate the transcendental situation. Acting in Krishna consciousness is called Sattva. Yes, Sattva. Acting in Krishna consciousness. What is acting in Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada is saying here, acting in Krishna consciousness is called Sattva. So what is acting in Krishna? Yes, Ramya?
And Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji doing all the activities, keeping Krishna at the center.
Yes. Performing devotional service, simple. Acting for Krishna means what? Performing an act for the benefit of Krishna, for the pleasure of Krishna. The enjoyer is Krishna. So all those acts are devotional service. And one who is fully conscious of the activities of Krishna consciousness is called a sadhu. Sadhu means what? He is Krishna conscious and he performs devotional service. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada is giving the reference of 3:25:25. This is Lord Kapil Dev's teaching to Mother Devahoti. Very famous verse. Satam prasangat. Let us open this verse. Mama veer samvidho. There, Shil Prabhu. Are you having laptop?
Prabhuji.
Okay. 325:25. Very, very famous verse. So just talk about sadbhave, sadhu bhavecha. So how we can keep all our activities centered with the objective of keeping Krishna in the center, and how we can remain Krishna conscious in all our activities. So Prabhupada is quoting this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Sata prasanga mama veer samvidho bhavanti hitkarna rasayana katha tajjoshanada suapavarga vartmani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishti. So how one can be in sadhu bhava, or how one can have the goal of sadbhava in the association of pure devotees. Discussions of the pastime and activities of Supreme Personality of Godhead is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. See, wherever we go, whatever we discuss, Krishna gives us this pop-up everywhere. So what one has to do? In the association of pure devotees, discussions of the pastime and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What it means? Krishna Katha. Discussion of the pastime and activities of Supreme Personality is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. That is Shravanam, the vidhi of hearing Krishna Katha in association of pure devotees. So by cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation. So Krishna is talking about liberation in this chapter. What is the means of liberation? Close down. Close down the sharing. We will come again. What is the means of liberation here? Krishna has recommended in this chapter. I hope you are all focused. We are coming to the end of Bhagavad Gita. From tomorrow we'll begin the final chapter, 18th chapter. That is again the overview. So what Krishna has already spoken, Krishna will not speak anything new. What is the path of liberation being suggested here in this chapter? Very simple. This is what we have been discussing for almost a week. No write-up coming for this chapter. Bolo, Ravinder Prabhu, what is the path of liberation being discussed in this chapter?
Prabhuji, activities performed in Sattva-guna, sacrifices and charity austerity.
Yes, by chanting the Om Tat Sat. Very important. Chanting of the Om Tat Sat. So but it is for those, all these activities are prescribed for those who are not doing this activity of Satam Prasanga Mamvire Samvidho. For them that is not required. They are already liberated. Bhavanti hitkarna rasayan katha tajjoshnadasu apavarga vartamani. Show the verse. And how one advances very beautifully. The step-by-step process is given in this verse. By cultivating such knowledge, one gradually becomes advanced on the path of liberation. And thereafter he is freed and his attraction becomes fixed Where did the attraction become fixed? In the Supreme Lord Krishna. Then real devotion and devotional service begin. So this chapter is talking about Shraddha. Shraddha Vibhag Yoga. And here it is talking about that how one can have Shraddha fixed. That is by discussion on the pastime and activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prabhupada says, very wonderful purport. The process of advancing in Krishna consciousness and devotional service is described here. Prabhupada will always speak about both Krishna consciousness and devotional service. The first point is that one must seek the association of a person who are Krishna conscious and who engage in devotional service. Without such association, one cannot make advancement. These are the words of our founder Acharya. Simply by theoretical knowledge or study, one cannot make any appreciable advancement. One must give up the association of materialistic person and seek the association of devotee, because without the association of devotee, one cannot understand the activities of the Lord. Close down the share. Screen share. This is Shraddha. Where is Shraddha to be developed? Based on what we are discussing. What Shraddha means now? What is Prabhupada speaking about it? Bolo, open up. You all read the purport with me. Boliye Manoram Prabhu. Speak.
Prabhuji, performing devotional service.
What are you hearing? Again, see the purport. Show the purport again. We read it so slowly, super slow. What Prabhupada is saying? What is the first point? Read, Manoram.
In the association of pure devotees, discussion of the pastimes and activities of
Please
the
read the
Supreme
purport
Person.
there. We don't have so much of time. I have to complete
Yes,
it.
Prabhuji. The process of advancing in Krishna consciousness and devotional service is described here.
Yes,
first
so
point-
we only know the terms, but how to make it happen? Prabhupada says it is described here. Okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. The first point is that one must seek the association of persons who are Krishna conscious and who engage in devotional service. Without such association, one cannot make advancement
Yes,
simply by
but
theory.
don't run, yaar. We always keep running from here. This is the point. And Prabhupada is saying simply by theoretical knowledge. People are thinking picking up the book and they will attain knowledge. They will never know anything. Simply by theoretical knowledge or study, one cannot make any appreciable advancement. Prabhupada is saying again and again, without such association, one cannot make advancement. One must give up the association of materialistic person and seek the association of devotees, because without the association of devotee, one cannot understand the activities of the Lord. Generally, people are convinced of the impersonal feature of the absolute truth because they do not associate with devotees. They cannot understand that the absolute truth can be person and have personal activities. This is a very difficult subject matter. Unless one has personal understanding of the absolute truth, there is no meaning to devotion. Service or devotion cannot be offered to anything impersonal. Service must be offered to a person. Non-devotee cannot appreciate Krishna consciousness by reading Srimad Bhagavatam or any other Vedic literature. See? So those who are not hearing, not coming in association, what is the possibility? Yeah. His divine grace is very clearly speaking. Wherein the activities of the Lord are described. They think that these activities are fictional, manufactured stories because spiritual life is not explained to them in proper mood. To understand the personal activities of the Lord, one has to seek the association of devotees. And by such association, when one contemplates and tries to understand the transcendental activities of the Lord, the path of liberation is open and he is free. One who has firm faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes fixed, and his attraction for association with the Lord and his devotees increases. How we can know that we are advancing? Our attraction for association with Lord and his devotees will increase. Association with devotees means association with the Lord. Very, very powerful. Association with devotees means association with the Lord. The devotee who makes this association develop the consciousness for rendering service to the Lord and then being situated in the transcendental position of devotional service, he gradually becomes perfect. Hare Krishna. Close it. Read this purport many, many times, hundreds of times. Prabhupada is clearly saying that what it means to be Krishna conscious and how to perform devotional service. Ekaki amar nahi paaye bal. Harinam Sankirtan. Who is speaking? Who is singing this bhajan? Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So Bhakti means Sangha, Bhakta Sangha. And the guidance. So Prabhupada is saying here, it is said that the transcendental subject matter becomes clear in the association of devotees. Come back to the purport. 17th chapter, 25, 20, 26, 27. The word used are Satam Prasangar. Without good association, one cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. Again, Prabhupada says. Without good association, one cannot achieve transcendental knowledge. When initiating a person or offering the sacred thread, one vibrates the word Om Tat Sat. Similarly, all kinds of performance of yajna, the object is the supreme. Om Tat Sat, the word Tad Arthiyam, further means offering service to anything which represents the supreme, including such service as cooking and helping in the Lord's temple. So all activities, the supreme should be the center, and it should be offered without any personal or selfish interest or motive, and by chanting the mantras. These supreme words, Om Tat Sat, are thus used in many ways to perfect all activities and make everything complete. So this is for those who are neither Krishna conscious nor who are engaged in devotional service. So how to bring them to the transcendental level? Krishna is giving this solution. For those who have faith, but they do not have faith in scriptures, who do not have faith in sadhus, who are not at the level of sat. So what they should be doing? They should be performing all activities by chanting the mantra Om Tat Sat. Now the final verse, the concluding verse of this chapter. Ashraddhaya hutam datam tapastaptam kritam chayat asat iti uchyate partha nacha tat pretya no iha. So this is about faith. So Krishna is concluding and he's saying, anything done as sacrifice, charity or penance. So see, this is the three main aspects in which Krishna is focusing on this chapter. Sacrifice, charity, and penance or austerity. He said, without faith in the Supreme Person of Partha is impermanent. It is called Asat. So till now, Krishna was focusing on Sat. Now he's saying, what is Asat? If Krishna talks about Sat, when Sat is there, then there is, which is not Sat, is Asat. What is Asat? So Krishna is explaining here that all these items of sacrifice, austerity, charity performed without faith in the Supreme is impermanent. It is called Asat and is useless both in this life and the next. So most of the people come in this category. All austerity, all sacrifice, and all charity even that they perform. They are not performing with faith in the Supreme Person. And here Krishna is saying it is impermanent, it is useless, both in this life and in the next. Anything done without the transcendental objective, whether it is sacrifice, charity, or penance, is useless. Very revolutionary. Prabhupada speaks the truth very blatantly, without any compromise or without any consideration. Therefore, in this verse, it is declared that such activities are abominable. Everything should be done for the Supreme in Krishna consciousness. Without such faith and without the proper guidance, there can never be any fruit. There's a very famous verse which talks about how one can receive all conclusions and knowledge of the Vedic literatures. Anyone knows that verse? Very famous verse, Prabhupada quotes many times, many places. It is quoted in Bhagavad Gita also a few times. I'll tell you where. Yasya deve parabhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasya kathita hi artha prakashante mahatmana. It is quoted twice in Bhagavad Gita. In 11.54, see 11.54. and 6.47. Both places Krishna is explaining. When he is beginning the Bhakti Yoga chapter, 7th chapter begins with Bhakti Yoga. So the final verse of Karma Yoga is 6.47, where Krishna is introducing Bhakti Yoga. So he speaks this verse. Very revolutionary. Prabhupada is quoting. And when he's ending, when he's speaking about the universal form, to end that chapter and begin the 12th chapter, which is devotional service, again Prabhupada is quoting this verse. Dayashir, you didn't find it?
Prabhuji, it is there. It is there. 11.54.
Your duty is to share. Okay. So Prabhupada is talking about perfection, the highest perfection. Okay, please remain there. I cannot take the full purport, it's a long purport. This stage of highest perfection in yoga can be attained only by Bhakti Yoga, as is confirmed in the Vedic literature. Yasya deve parabhakti yatha deve tatha guru tasyete kathita hi artha prakashante mahatmana. So this verse speaks, he says, that only unto those great souls, they are Mahatmana, great souls, who have implicit faith. This chapter is talking about faith. Faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master. Are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. The one who has faith, yasya deve parabhakti, and yatha deve tatha guru. So how one performs the process of devotional service as it is dictated or directed by the spiritual master. Yatha deve tatha guru. And unto such a person who has unflinching faith in both the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord, and who is thus engaged in serving the Supreme Lord as per the guidance of the spiritual master. What is the result? Tasyate khatita hi artha. So for them, the inner purports or the imports of all the Vedic knowledge is prakashante. It is illuminated. Where? In the heart. This Vedic knowledge is automatically revealed or illuminated in the heart. Okay, close it. So this is talking about faith. So Prabhupada is concluding here, he is saying that without such faith, which faith? Faith in the Supreme Lord and the spiritual master. And without proper guidance, there can never be any fruit. There can never be any fruit. No result, useless. In all Vedic scriptures, faith in the Supreme is advised. In the pursuit of all Vedic instruction, the ultimate goal is the understanding of Krishna. No one can obtain success without following this principle. Therefore, the best course is to work from the very beginning in Krishna consciousness, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. This is the way to make everything successful. In the conditioned state, people are attracted to worshipping demigod, ghost, or yakshas like Kuvera. The mode of goodness is better than the mode of passion and ignorance. But one who takes directly to Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all these three modes of material nature. Although there is a process of gradual elevation, if one by the association of pure devotees, again, association of pure devotees, takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way, and that is recommended in this chapter. Where is it recommended? Where Krishna is talking about association, but Prabhupada is giving the inner meaning. Prabhupada is giving the perfection stage right from the beginning. To achieve success in this way, one must first find the proper spiritual master. One has to find. He will not come. He will not come and pick you up. One has to be inquisitive. One has to find the proper spiritual master and receive training under his direction. Even finding is not enough or sufficient. One has to be trained. Then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. This is the secret. That is why faith is not there. Faith is fragile. We are always doubting. Why the faith is not there? Because we have not done what is required. We have not developed first faith in the spiritual master. To the extent we develop faith in the spiritual master, to that extent faith in the Supreme is already developed. And without faith in the spiritual authority, the spiritual master, there is no possibility of faith in Krishna, or there is no possibility of understanding Krishna. The same purport, 11.54. If you see that purport, 11.54. Prabhupada writes, very revolutionary purport. Prabhupada says, where he's quoting this verse, in continuation of this verse, Yasya Deve Parabhakti. Again show it. Again show it. Same thing. One who has unflinching, one who has unflinching devotion for the Supreme Lord and is directed by the spiritual master, in whom he has similar unflinching faith. So to the extent we have faith in the spiritual master, to that extent the faith in Supreme Lord is already developed. If we don't have faith in the spiritual master, there is no question of any faith in the Supreme Lord. It is all emotional and it will be exposed. Unflinching faith can see, such a person can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead by revelation. One cannot understand Krishna by mental speculation. Again, Prabhupada is saying the same point. For one who does not take personal training, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, it is impossible to even begin to understand Krishna. The word tu is specifically used here to indicate that there is no other process can be used, can be recommended, or can be successful in understanding Krishna. Om Tat Sat. Close it. So those who have avoided, those who have not come in the training program, for them Krishna consciousness will never begin. They will never have any understanding of Krishna, what to speak of faith in Krishna. They will remain on the Asat platform. This is the word, see, where Prabhupada is quoting what? This verse is talking about those who are on the Asat platform. Asat iti uchyate partha na cha tat pretya no iha. Very fortunate who get trained. In PBT program, we have training program. After coming to join as a new bhakta, there is 1 year or 2 years of training. Actually, Krishna consciousness training is throughout the life. To the extent we are being trained, we are under direction, we are following. To that extent, we are developing faith in the spiritual master, in the spiritual authority. To that extent, we have already developed faith in Krishna. And then the activities are on the transcendental platform. Therefore, the best course, come back to the purport, we will conclude it. Oh, the time is over. You have to complete fast. Therefore, the best course is to work from the very beginning, following this principle, from very beginning of Krishna consciousness and the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. That is the way to make everything successful. In the conditioned state, people are attracted to worshipping demigod, ghosts, yakshas like Kubera. The mode of goodness is better than the mode of passion and ignorance. But one who takes directly to Krishna consciousness is transcendental to all the 3 modes of material nature. Although there is a process of gradual elevation, if one by the association of pure devotees takes directly to Krishna consciousness, that is the best way. And that is recommended in this chapter. To achieve success in this way, one must find the proper spiritual master and receive training under his direction. Again and again, Prabhupada is speaking. Twice, just you see the paragraph above, Prabhupada spoke about it. Again he is speaking. Then one can achieve faith in the Supreme. When that faith matures in course of time, it is called love of God. Sadbhave sadhu bhave cha. This love is the ultimate goal of the living entity. So to the extent we are developing love in our spiritual relationship, love of the Supreme is already developed. There is one very wonderful quote. I wanted to share it. What is love of Supreme? One devotee sent it to me. You know Shruti Kriti Prabhu? He was the personal servant of Srila Prabhupada for many, many years, and Prabhupada liked him very much. So when Shruti Kirti Prabhu was in Mayapur, and Prabhupada came to Mayapur, and when he saw the reception given by devotees in Mayapur, as Prabhupada's car entered Mayapur, everyone fell flat on the dust, paying dandavat, and such ecstatic kirtan and dancing was performed, and tears were flowing from the eyes of the devotees. And when Shruti Kirti Prabhu saw it, he started to think that I have never seen in my own heart such feelings for Srila Prabhupada. So in due course of time, he told Prabhupada that Prabhupada, I do not have love for you. Here, there, Shil, don't go away. Sit and hear. The most important thing. So Prabhupada says, how do you say so? That you do not have love? What it means love, I am explaining. Prabhupada explained that. So Prabhupada asked him, you are my personal servant. Do you like your service? And Shrutakruti Prabhu says, yes, very much. I just don't like Prabhupada. I love my service. Prabhupada says, this is love. Jumping up and down is not love. How much we are fixed in performing our service. How much attraction we are developing to serve is the expression of love. Whatever is being told, to that extent we are sincerely attempting and applying ourselves, that is love. Prabhupada is saying that when the faith matures, in mature state, there is no faith, there is no love. There is no question about it. In course of time, it is called love of God. This love is the ultimate goal of living entity. One should therefore take to Krishna consciousness directly. This is the message of the 17th chapter. Indirect process was given here for those who are not doing directly. But Krishna is recommending the direct process. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport to the 17th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita in the matter of division of faith. Om Tat Sat Iti. Bhagavad Gita Shu, Upanishad Shu, Brahma Vidyaya Yoga Shastre, Sapta Dasham, Shraddha Tri Vibhaga Yoga now. Okay. There must be some questions. We can take it tomorrow because it is getting late. It is already 9. So we will recite the 15th chapter. Read these purports again and again, hear again and again. Because it's very difficult with our contaminated, subtle bodies to get the right message. Again and again we fail. What fail? We kick it. We don't accept it. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Urdhvamulam Madhashakham Ashwatam Prahuravayam Chandamsi Suparnani Yastam Veda Saveda Ved Adashva Urdhvam Prasatastasya Shakha Guna Pravidha Vishaya Pravala Adashcha Mulani Anushantatani कर्मानुबंधेन मनुष्य लोके न रूपमसे ततोपलभ्यते नान्तो न चादिर्न च संप्रतिष्ठा अश्वत्थेन सुविरूढमूला असंग शस्त्रेण दृढेन चित्वा तथा पदं तत्परिमार्गितव्यम् यस्मिन् गताना निवर्तन्ति भूया तमेव चाद्यं पुरुषं प्रपद्ये यथा प्रवृत्ति प्रसता पुराणी निर्माण मोहा जित संग दोषा अध्यात्म नित्या विनिवृत्त कामा द्वंद्वे विमुक्ता सुख दुख संगे गच्छन्ति मूढ़ा पदमव्ययम् ना तद्भासते सूर्यो ना शशांको न पावका यद्गत्वा न निवर्तन्ते तद्धाम परमं मम ममेवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातना मनःषष्ठानि इन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थाने कर्षति शारीरं यद् अवाप्नोति यच्चापि उत्क्रमत ईश्वर गृहीत्वेतानि संयाति वायुर्गन्धाम् इवाशेत् श्रोत्रं चक्षुस्पर्शनं च रसनं ग्रहणमेव च अधिष्ठाय मनश्चायं विषयान् उपसेवते उत्क्रामन्तं स्थितं वापि भुञ्जानं वा गुणान्वितं विमूढानानुपश्यन्ति पश्यन्ति ज्ञानचक्षुषा यतन्तो योगिनश्चैनं पश्यन्ति आत्मनि अवस्थितं यतन्तोऽपि यत्कृतात्मानो नैनं पश्यन्ति अचेतसा यदादित्यागतं तेजो जगद्भाष्यते अखिलं यच्चन्द्रमसि यच्चाग्नो तत्तेजो विधिमामकम् गामाविश्य च भूतानि धारयामि अहमोजसा पुष्णामि चौषधि सर्वा सुमो भूत्वा रसात्मकम् अहं वैश्वानरो भूत्वा प्राणिनां देहमाश्रिता प्राणापान समायुक्ता पचामि अन्नं चतुर्विधा सर्वस्य चाहं हृदि सन्निविष्टो मत्ता स्मृतिर्ज्ञानमपोहनं च वेदैश्च सर्वैरहमेव वेद्यो वेदान्तकृद्वेदविदेव चाहम् द्वैमा पुरुषो लोके क्षरश्चाक्षरेव च क्षर सर्वाणि भूतानि कूटस्थो अक्षर उच्यते उत्तमा पुरुषस्तु अन्या परमात्मेति उदारता य लोके त्रयमाविश्य विभर्ति अव्यय ईश्वर यस्मात् शरमतीतोऽहम् अक्षरादपि चोत्तमा अतोऽस्मि लोकवेदे च प्रतीता पुरुषोत्तमा यो मामेवम् सम्मूढो जानाति पुरुषोत्तमा स सर्वे भजति माम् सर्वभावेन भारत इति गुह्यतमं शास्त्रम् इदम् उक्त्वा मया नघ एतद् बुद्ध्वा बुद्धिमानः स्यात् कृतकृतश्च भारत ओम तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्म विद्याय योगशास्त्रे श्री कृष्ण अर्जुन संवादे पंचदशोऽध्याय श्री पुरुषोत्तम योग नाम हरे कृष्णा It is 5 minutes to 9. This is the transcendental effect. Not much late. Any question? I can take one question. If someone has any genuine question on this chapter. Shraddha Tri Vibhaga Yogo Naam. बोलो भाई पूरा चैप्टर पढ़ दिया कुछ नहीं कोई इंक्वायरी नहीं नहीं है तो मैं बंद कर रहा हूँ We are ending. I will complete my duty. Krishna willing, we will enter the final chapter from tomorrow. The perfection of renunciation. Sannyas ka upsanghar. Hare Krishna. Purushottam Maas Mahamahotsav ki jai.